Howdy folks. Today we're going to be swapping out the battery on my VTX 1800. I've wanted one of these for a long time, ever since got my dad one and rode it around for a little while before handing it over to him. And a few years back, my wife got me this guy for Valentine's Day, which is pretty freaking awesome. Unfortunately, since then, most of my riding has been commuting during rush hour, and this thing is really not the right beastie for that. So it's been doing a lot of sitting in the garage, especially the last couple of years. But with everyone pretty much stuck at home, it's turned into a good time to be out on the road on a bigger bike. So yeah, we're going to swap out the battery, get some new stickers on it, and I'm gonna take it out for a ride today. So yeah, start off by removing the seat. The battery is pretty easy to get to, but some folks mention that it's difficult to actually remove. So we'll do a little bit of digging in here and see how bad it really is. So first off, there's just a couple of Phillips head screws here. And these are holding in that cover that's over the top of the battery and has the various electronics attached to it there. So you flip that guy up and the battery's right there. This is a gel cell battery that I put in, I don't know, when I first got the bike, probably 4 or 5 years ago. I'm a little disappointed that it's already dead, so I may go about trying to resurrect it. We'll see how that goes. Right now it's sitting at 5 volts and doesn't want to take a charge at all. So you can see it is non-trivial even once the battery is gotten to get it out. I found the easiest thing to do is to work it up from that left-hand side. You have to take off the side cover to get access to it, but then you can kind of slide it up and you can get your fingers around it then and actually pull it up and out. So we've got a new OEM battery. This is the same battery that originally came in the bike. See if it does a little better than the aftermarket one that I had replaced it with. You can see the writing on the box here, dry battery with electrolyte. This was not something I was expecting at the time. I was expecting when I first started shooting this video that it was going to be a little 5-minute video of, open it up, take the battery out, drop the new battery in, start it up, and away we go. But as we're about to find out, that isn't exactly the case. So right off the bat, that's not a battery. That is a bunch of vials of electrolyte. So we're going to have to fill this thing. So that should be good times. The last time I did this was a very messy and horrible process. It required, little measuring cups and pouring acid very carefully and trying not to get acid all over your workbench and garage and clothes and everything like that. And I've still got a pair of jeans that has a bunch of tiny little holes in it from where the acid dripped down my leg. So yeah, totally an experience that I was looking forward to recreating. Luckily, as you can see from the containers that the electrolyte is in, they've advanced a little bit, and here I'm actually going to read the instructions and figure out how this works. And the thing that I'll be learning here is that the vials are independently sealed with foil, and once you pull back that foil lining on the battery, it's got little pins inside. So when you jam the foil covered vials down into the top of the battery, it breaks the foil cover once they're down in, and then lets the electrolyte all go into the battery as opposed to all over your workbench and destroying your clothes and things like that. Alright, so now over at the workbench, we're going to take off that piece of foil, and there you can see the little spiky tube guys that puncture the foil. And yeah, so we're going to open up the electrolyte here. The electrolyte comes with that, with the stoppers for the battery over the edge of the electrolyte tubes. So it gives it a little extra protection in shipping. So yeah, you can see the foil on the end there. And yeah, we're just going to shove it in. And there it kind of drops into place. And you see the bubbles flowing now. This is very mad scientist as the electrolyte drains down into the battery. So this process of just letting the electrolyte go in takes about 20 minutes on its own. So we'll speed that up for you. All right. It seems pretty empty. All right. So we can take those off, set it aside, put the rubber stoppers on. This is a one-time installation. I'm not sure if it's, maintaining pressure inside and things like that. The instructions that come with the battery are really, really clear that you don't ever take this strip off once you've put it on. You never top up the electrolyte. You never do anything like that. This is a absorbed matte battery, and yeah, they're really, really clear that you never take it off. You never open it. So not really sure what the technology going on there is, but I can follow directions pretty well, and it's pretty clear. Do not open. So yeah, now we'll just kind of watch this as the electrolyte does its thing. And yeah, I was a little surprised that right off the hop we're already fairly close to 13 volts. So yeah, we'll babysit that and see how it goes while the electrolyte absorbs into the mat and the battery gets itself ready for production. Looking at the instructions again, it talks about waiting a couple of hours at this size of battery before throwing it on a charger. Alright, so after letting it soak and build up its voltage for a while, threw it on a charger the next morning and let it take up to a full charge, and it's there at getting close to 14 volts there. So let's pull it off the charger and drop it over into the bike. Alright, same game as before. Got to take the seat off and remove the little cover. I had to at least set things back together because I left the bike sitting outside overnight. But of course didn't put the screws back in for really real, so things are still easy to just pull apart here. So tuck that guy back up, grab the hardware for the battery, and we got the battery itself. Alright, now we just drop the battery back in. Pretty straightforward. Connect the positive connection first. And then the negative. grab the driver to tighten these back down. And we'll torque them down a little bit. Put the protective cover back on, the positive lead, and then I saved the screws in their home so I didn't lose them for that cover. Fiddle with this a little bit to get it back in place. And torque those guys down. And last but not least, put the seat back on. Just has a little tongue up in the front that slides under the tank, and then it's got that one hex bolt in the back. So not a lot to it. And now we just fire it up and see if it works. And that's about that. So thanks as always for watching, and we'll catch you next time.